The final tier list for positions in the 2022 season is here. Today we're ranking the #1 starter, the aces of every team in Major League Baseball. Now, of course, some teams have multiple aces. Phillies have Wheeler and Nola. Mets have a couple. Brewers got Burns, Woodruff, Dodgers. The list goes on and on. We are picking one pitcher from every team and ranking them from elite all the way down to trash. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Beard Club. Guys, it's no secret that women love beards and we love growing them. Or if you're like me, at least trying to. But let's be honest, having a great beard, it takes work. Whether it's beard growth oils, styling products, a trimmer, I mean, there's a small army of products that you need in order to maintain a good looking beard. Luckily, Beard Club is here to help. Beard Club is the leader in beard first men's grooming and growth. And Beard Club delivers high quality consumables and hardware that makes your beard look thicker, fuller, and honestly just straight up nicer. Now, if you're like me, I have a hard time growing a beard. I mean, this is 2 weeks of no shaving. That's where Beard Club comes in. The growth kit features sprays to strengthen and moisturize your beard hair, oils that prime follicles for optimal growth, and a derma roller that rejuvenates dormant hair follicles. No matter what your needs are, Beard Club is here to help you. And for someone like me, I need help growing one. Grow your best beard today and take 20% off your first order by going to beardclub.com/GiraffeNeckMarc and use code GiraffeNeckMarc. If you're like me and you struggle to grow a beard, or if you've got a beard and you want it to look better, Beard Club is the place for you. Check out the link in the description. Thank you to Beard Club for sponsoring today's video. So first we got Alek Manoah, and Alek Manoah has been great. He's been awesome this year. I think he's a really, really good starter. And again, with all these guys being aces, the tier list is a little bit different. Like elite is like the best pitchers in the game. All-star is like you're #1. You're sick. You're awesome. Top of the rotation, I think you're like a 2, maybe a 3. Back end, 4, 5 type starter, and then trash, you're bad. Which I guess we can just make this the Patrick Corbin tier because Patrick Corbin is so bad and is sort of kind of the ace on the Nationals. So we'll just get that out of the way and put him in trash because we know he is definitely the worst starter, I think, on this entire list by a long shot. But for Alek Manoah, I'm really torn between top of the rotation and all-star because I don't think he has like the K-rate type stuff to be considered like one of the best #1s in baseball, but he is really good. I think I'll just put him in all-star. Like the guy is a beast. I know he had a bad postseason, didn't look great in his start, but Alek Manoah is a guy who's probably going to get better and is one of the better pitchers in the game. I actually know exactly where he belongs. He belongs in the all-star tier, which I guess we can change to still a #1 because there's just better guys than just dudes who are actually #1 worthy. Brady Singer. I don't know what to do with Brady Singer. He looked really good this year. I think he definitely belongs in the top of rotation. Like his numbers this year, he upped the K rate, got the walk rate down. He looks like a different pitcher, which is huge because this was a guy who had a lot of hype around him. Brady Singer could be a guy to keep your eye on for next year to maybe have another good year. This felt like this was his breakout though. A really strong year in Kansas City. Definitely a top of the rotation guy. I don't know if he's a true one just yet. Carlos Rodon is so good. I'm putting him in elite. Carlos Rodon is one of the most slept on pitchers in baseball. The fact that seemingly nobody went after him last offseason was absolutely crazy. He is going to be so highly sought after this offseason. The man's going to get paid and he deserves it because he had another phenomenal year out in San Francisco. I think he's in that tier of elite pitchers. Cole Irvin. I think Cole Irvin is the first guy who goes in back end. He's a guy who can eat innings for you. He's going to go 5 every single time, it seems like, but none of the stuff is jump off the page good, and his production also isn't jump off the page good. But if you have him as a 4, you have him as a 5 in a rotation that has a lot of good guys at the start, you probably feel pretty good. He's not a bad option for the back end, but as #1, not the guy you want. Corbin Burns is still elite. Like, was it worse than last year? Yeah, but it was going to be almost impossible to be as good as he was in 2021. Still elite, still one of the best pitchers in the game, without a doubt. The stuff is disgusting. It's not his fault the Brewers can't score, but he is definitely still absolutely incredible. The K rate through the roof as always, and a whip under 1. I mean, come on. Corbin Burns is elite. So here's the thing. Do I put Dylan Cease in the elite tier? Probably. I mean, probably, right? He still strikes out 30% of the batters he faces. He had a 2 ERA. He limits hard contact relatively well. It's just he walks a lot of guys, but that's something that you can fix. But can a guy with a 10% walk rate still be elite? I think when you're striking out 30% of the guys that you face, you probably are. So as weird as this one feels, like I truly probably believe he's still a #1 and I need to see more, but the numbers were so good this year that I can look past the high walk rate. So with German Marquez, if he didn't play in Coors, he's a top of the rotation guy, maybe even a #1. His stuff outside of Coors is fantastic. We're looking at his baseball reference here. Look at his home and away splits. Home 6.7 ERA, away 3.43, pitched more innings away as well. His whip was significantly lower. Like, he's a way better pitcher away than he is at home. So I'm gonna base him off of the top end stuff because you get him out of Coors, he's the top of the rotation guy, probably a 2 or 3, but obviously he's still there for the Rockies and we have to keep that in mind. So top of the rotation rotation, I think is where he lands. Garrett Cole, as much as it pains me and as fun as it is to make fun of, he is still elite, and this does make me think that Dylan Cease's is still a number one, but we'll maybe readjust towards the end. But yeah, Garrett Cole's one of the best pitchers in baseball. While the numbers haven't been as good since the sticky stuff has gone away, he's still great. He still doesn't walk anybody. He still destroys batters. And I like to poke fun at him, but he is really good. And he's definitely one of the 10 best pitchers in the game, which is where I think kind of this elite lies. So Hunter Green right now is not a number one by any means. And realistically, if you were to take him right now, he probably is a back end starter. But I just can't see him like that because the stuff is so good and he's so young and he's still got a lot of improvement upon him to come. So I'm going to put him in top of the rotation. I think he's probably a 3 with the chance to be a 2. And obviously, as he gets more mature in his career and gets better as a pitcher, he has that ability to be an ace because he's got electric stuff. Jacob deGrom, elite. Outside the injuries, which is definitely a big thing, but hey, he did look healthy-ish in the second half for the Mets. He's still disgusting. This stuff is still crazy. He gives up 2 runs and we start to talk about, is he washed? That's how good he's been. He's obviously still elite. And he was about the only pitcher that showed up for the Mets in the playoffs. I can't even blame him for the awful performance by the Mets in the postseason. Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles eats innings, but he's a back-end guy. As a 4 or a 5 in a rotation, oh, sign me up all day. Jordan Lyles is healthy. He goes 5 to 6 innings every game, and he gives you a chance to win. He's gotten better as well, but he is by no means an ace. John Means is technically the ace in this rotation, but he didn't pitch in 2022. I mean, he threw 2 games, so I just went with Jordan Lyles, but we all know it's probably not him. So for the Dodgers, it was interesting. Ended up going with Julio Urias because I do think he probably has the best top-tier stuff for a guy that isn't named Walker Buehler right now in that rotation, and he definitely goes in the still a number 1 though. I mean, he quietly has had a phenomenal year. He should be in the Cy Young conversation. Like, his stuff profiles relatively similarly to Manoah in that they both strike out around 20 to 25% of the batters they face, not a ton of walks, but they get really, really good results, and I think that's where Julio Urias lands. Absolute stud this year after another great year last year. Dude's a beast. Justin Verlander, who saw this coming, but I think he has to go back in elite, right? I mean, you're talking about one of the 10 best pitchers in baseball coming off Tommy John. Who saw him having one of the best seasons you've ever had? Like a fine wine, he only gets better with age. I love saying it. I love that he's back. Justin Verlander's a stud. For Luis Castillo, this guy is probably the closest, I think, out of all the guys on this list to being elite. I mean, he's so incredibly good, Luis Castillo. Moving from Cincinnati to Seattle is so big for his game, along with the fact that Seattle seems to figure something out pitching-wise recently. He's incredibly good. Such a beast. Real true number 1, right on the cusp of being elite. Marcus Stroman, top of the rotation kind of guy. You don't want him being your number 1. You probably feel a little bit weird like you did with the Cubs this year, but as a 2, as a 3, you're feeling great. He eats innings when he's healthy. He's consistent. You know what you're getting with him. Solid player, and he did look a lot better in the second half for the Cubs. Martin Perez looked really good this year, but I think we'd be foolish to put him anything but back end of the rotation. I'm not going to take the 2022 year where there wasn't really a lot of change in his numbers or stats. It's just he had a better ERA and start going crazy. I think he's a back end starter and a good one at that. Max Fried, I'm going to put Max Fried in elite. He's really, really good. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Had a great year for the Atlanta Braves in the regular season. Obviously in the postseason, we know it's a little bit different, but he's just one of the best big game starters. He had a great year, strikes out guys, doesn't give up walks. All the things that you want from an elite starting pitcher, Max Fried has it. See, even my Mets love can't blur my eyes to how good Max Fried is. Dude's a top 10 pitcher in the game, probably. Miles Mikolas. Miles Mikolas is probably like Marcus Stroman-ish in that 2 or 3, you're feeling really good. Really, really good if he's your 3. Solid pitcher, made like 30 starts, 200 innings this year. He doesn't do anything that makes you go, wow, but you look at his stat line at the end of the year and he always just puts together a pretty good one. Miles Mikolas, the Lizard King, top of the rotation. Mitch Keller, good year, but I don't think he's an ace. I think he's a back end of the rotation kind of guy. He has really, really good stuff, but he just doesn't really know where it's going. So I think it would be a little bit of an overreaction to put him anywhere but back end right now. I still think he's good. He has that electric fastball now, but it's just not there yet. I think Evaldi is another one of these guys. You have him as a 2 or a 3. You're feeling pretty decent. I think, again, 3 even more so. Obviously, you got the injury bug every once in a while with him, but he quietly always puts up a good year when he is healthy, and he has a spot on a lot of teams. Like, a lot of teams would love to have Nathan Evaldi in their rotation. So if you can beat the injury thing with him, you got a pretty good starting pitcher on your hands. Sandy, of course, is going in elite. You're probably looking at the National League Cy Young Award winner here. He's just so incredibly talented with such great stuff, and I do think he's only going to continue to get better better, as we've seen year in and year out. Sandy Alcantara is one of the only reasons to watch the Miami Marlins right now. Him and Jazz Chisholm, the future of that team, if they don't trade these guys, which they probably will because they're the Marlins. So I would have put Shane Bieber in elite, but the K rate dropped a lot this year, and I do think that's a concern. And without that elite K rate, I think he's just a normal number one, which is still one of the best pitchers in baseball. I need to make that very, very clear. Shane Bieber being in still number one doesn't mean he's not good. These guys, even in the top of the rotation, still all really good pitchers. It's just so hard to get in that elite, and when you've got all these guys in there already, I think Shane Bieber is just a part of that next group of guys. Also makes me think Dylan Cease is too. Again, we'll readjust at the end. Really good pitcher, just doesn't have the K rate that he once had when he was at his elite levels. Wow, Shane McClanahan really is so good. Okay, so yeah, I gotta move Cease down to here because McClanahan just straight up has better numbers, and he's so good. He's so good, Shane McClanahan. Wow, okay. He could go in elite. I think I'm gonna put him still in number one. He's right on the borderline too. He's unbelievably good, just so slept on. 30% K rate, 5% walk rate, and he low-key threw 166 innings this year. This dude is ramping up to become one of the best pitchers in baseball. Keep an eye on him next year. I don't think I need to tell you that. You knew about McClanahan, but yeah, he's really, really close to being in that elite tier, and definitely that means I need to bump Dylan Cease down. Shohei Ohtani is a unicorn. He's so sick. Of course he's going in elite. 33% K rate, 7% walk rate. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The dude hits and then qualified enough innings to be an ERA guy for a pitcher, to be considered a pitcher. Like, what? He's so unbelievably good, Shohei Ohtani. He is definitely elite. I'm not even talking about him as a full player. As a pitcher alone, guy's good enough to win the Cy Young, no doubt. For Sonny Gray, top of the rotation. I think he fits in with all these guys here. Pretty solid 2 or 3. Not the ace that he once was. I expected a lot more out of him in Minnesota. His numbers were fine, but it just felt like he wasn't that piece that I thought he was going to be out there. Still good. Still a good pitcher. For Tariq Skubal, I think I'm going to put him in top of the rotation too. I liked what I saw out of him this year. A big improvement on what we've seen of Tariq Skubal the last few years. Like, he was able to limit home runs at a really, really elite rate, and that's hard to do. You have to adjust, but I think as like a 2 or 3, fine. I think he slots in fine there. I don't know if he has that ace type stuff though just yet to be put into that tier. I think if I'm going to put Hunter Green there, I probably could put Tariq Skubal too. Yu Darvish, I think, is still definitely a number one. Really, really good pitcher. I mean, we saw him dice up the Mets in game 1 in the wild card, which, God, why do I keep talking about this? I wish I could avoid it, but I'm a masochist and need to be sad and talk about the Mets. But Yu Darvish is definitely still number one. He just fluctuates too much to get into that elite tier because he does go through some stretches where he's horrible and some stretches where he's unhittable. God, I love Zach Gallen so much. I've been preaching this guy's name for years now. You guys know it. If you've been a loyal viewer and subscriber of this channel, you know how much I've hyped up Zach Gallen since you could have possibly hyped him up. And it finally came through. They got Brent Strom for pitching coach there out in Arizona, and it changed everything. Cy Young candidate. Legitimate chance to win the Cy Young this year. You know I'm putting Zach Gallen in elite. He's so good. Jersey kid as well. Let's go Zach Gallen. I mean, the ability to limit hits is incredible, especially pitching in Arizona. Massive outfield there. Zach Gallen's so sick. He's so sick. And then for Zach Wheeler, wow. I'm really torn. I think he oh man, is he elite? Is he elite? I'm willing to put Zach Wheeler in elite. It's probably one of the funnier looking tier lists, but yeah, Zach Wheeler, I mean, he deserves to be an elite. He really is one of the best. I mean, I guess it's not 10 here. How many is this? Oh my God, is this exactly 10? Oh my God, yeah, okay. Oh, perfect. Exactly what I wanted with elite. Basically be the top 10 pitchers, or at least relatively the top 10 pitchers in baseball. I think Zach Wheeler definitely belongs in that conversation. He's just so good. Saw it coming too, which makes it even more painful that he's on the Phillies, leading them to what should be an NLCS berth if they keep it up against the Braves, which is when I'm recording this on Saturday. He's just become a completely different pitcher. He's been healthy relatively. He goes a lot of innings. Great stuff. Swing and miss abilities. Doesn't walk anybody. What was there not to like about Zach Wheeler? I don't know. I'd love to ask Brody Van Wagenen in that question, because how did you let this guy walk? What were you doing, Brody? Okay, enough Mets talk. Yeah, I feel good about this one. Hold on one second. Now I feel good about it. Let's just change to the Patrick Corbin tier, because he really is in a league of his own right now. But when you're talking about aces, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of guys in the top end, because the way that I set up this tier list, that's how it's supposed to work. I'd love to know what you guys think about my tier list down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you did enjoy this video, it really does help the channel by dropping a like as well as subscribing so you don't miss out. A bunch of you aren't subscribed. Click that sub button so you don't miss my videos when they come out. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.